Namaste children. This is Jyoti Devgan from the Department of English, and today I am going to take you further in the story The Limits of Knowledge. We were talking about India being a democratic nation during the rule of King Bhoj, when a small weaver was asked to leave his accommodation. The way he came and pleaded the king was appreciated by the writer. Now, carrying the story forward, another memorable story the writer quotes that brings out the extent of the common people's wisdom as well as their freedom to address the king concerns King Bhoj and an old woman. Once Bhoj went walking out in the countryside with a very learned scholar from a neighboring kingdom. As they walked, both were deeply immersed in literary and philosophical discussion. Once, when King Bhoj and one of his senior leaders, another learned scholar, they both were taking a stroll. This caused them to lose their way. They were talking with each other and deeply immersed, means they were busy talking, and they lost their way. Arriving at a village where an old woman was tending her field, they stopped and asked, "Respected mother, where does this road go?" "The road does not go anywhere. It stays here. Once the people who walk on it will go somewhere. So tell me, who are you?" said the woman in response. They both said, "We are travelers," they replied. The old woman smiled. "Travelers? There are only two travelers in this world. One is the sun and the other is the moon. Tell me truly who you are." "Sister, we are guests," said the scholar. "Guests? But guests are only two. One is wealth and the second is youth. Now tell me, which one are you?" said the old woman. "We are kings," said King Bhoj. "There are only two kings. One is Lord Indra, that is the king of gods, and the other is Yam, meaning the god of death. Now tell me who you are," inquired the old woman. King Bhoj and his companion, his friend, were by now truly astonished. Astonished meaning surprised, stunned, amazed. We are of great ability," they said. "There are only two of great ability," said the woman. "One is the earth, the Mother Earth, and the other is a woman. But you look neither of them. Say now who you are." "Sister, we are sadhus, we are holy men," said the King Bhoj, getting desperate. Desperate meaning when you get irritated. "You do not look like sadhus to me," said the old woman, nodding her head in disagreement. She says, "No, no, no, no. You don't look like sadhus. Anyway, sadhus are only two." She went on. "One is modesty and the other contentment." Now the scholar plucked courage. He gathered some courage and he spoke up. He said, "Sister, we are Pardesis, not the local people. But the woman would have none of it. Pardesi, you are not. Only the soul and the leaf of a tree is a Pardesi. Now tell me who you are. The king and the scholar were becoming increasingly lost for words in the face of the woman's astonishing replies. But how could they admit defeat in a duel of words? Meaning, in this war of words, actually, this was a war of words. Whatever the king would say, or whatever the scholar would say, the woman had an answer to it. They tried to go further. King Bhoj said, "We both are poor. There are only two poor creatures in this world," said the woman with glee, with happiness. She said, "There are only two people who are poor in this world. One is a tree born for being chopped, and the second is an orphan who is forced to work. Now tell me, which one are you?" It was the scholar's turn now to say something. He said, "Sister, we are clever," he said. "There are only two clever things in this world. One is grain and second is water. Which one are you?" countered the old woman. At this, both king and the scholar groaned and said, "Ah, we are defeated." "There are only two defeated people in this world," said the woman. "One is a man who is burdened with debt, and the other is the father of a child without good qualities. Why do you not tell me truthfully who you are?" And she said, "Come on. Now don't try to tell me here and there. Tell me the real truth. Who are you?" Throwing up their hands in despair, King Bhoj and scholar said, "What can we say, sister? The truth is, we seem to know nothing. It is you who knows all." The king and the scholar, they used to think they are literate. They are really educated. They know everything. But here, in front of this old woman and her wisdom, they felt they were defeated. He said, "Come on, we don't know anything. It is you who knows everything." At these words, the face of the old woman broke into a smile. Then she turned serious. In a kind and soothing voice, soothing means caressing, calm, peaceful voice, she said, "Both of you had become too proud of your wealth and learning. I knew right from the beginning that you are King Bhoj and he is your scholarly guest. This was my way of bringing you down, back to earth. Go on this path." She showed the way, she gestured, and she said, "Go in this path. That is the way back to Dhar." Means she showed them their real place. She had felt right from the beginning that the scholarly guest and King Bhoj, she had already recognized, and she knew that they were the king and the scholarly guest. But she wanted to bring them down on earth. The king and the scholar, they bowed down with respect to the poor old woman who had helped open their eyes to their own faults. They had much to think about on their way home. While they walked back to Dhar, his own palace, King Bhoj and the scholarly guest thought, there were so many things to be learned from this old woman. Now, my dear children, whatever comparisons, similes have been used in this story, I would want you to please write them down somewhere and do use it in your day-to-day spoken part of English. Thank you so much.